The day of the hero draws near, which shall see the crowning of a new king. 30 days remain.
Welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio. Okay, we have a letter from Bardon. Welcome back to Metaphor ReFantazio. Guess who we're about to be greeted by? Oh, okay. Yeah, more on this.
I see.
Well, maybe the Smash It All to Bits guy will be waiting for us after we get out of this conversation. It's also nice that we've got the Hushed Honeybee being our base of operations.
Speaking of which...
Oh, Altamari Opera House. Yeah, you can go and see plays to increase your royal virtues. Maybe you want to spot by the hot springs at Altaberry. Yeah, there's totally not a really creepy request that we have to do regarding those hot springs. And I kind of feel like I should get that out of the way soon.
Shall we?
Yufa. Okay, yeah. Well, actually, that sounds about right that we do that today. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it.
Smash it all to bits.
Hey, it's the Smash It All to Bits guy! Also, Bond's Unfettered Brigida. Oh, interesting. No recollection of her parents' name Brigida was actually given to her by the other children in her youth. Did she ever actually say that? Huh. She did not name the puppy. I was due to the... Yeah, oh, yeah, no. I think she already mentioned that she didn't name it because she was afraid of getting too attached. Well, it's good that she's changed. But, okay, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're the only two daytime bonds I have available, so... They're going to be going pretty fast from now on, and they're both only at rank 3. Oh, right, there was actually a couple of things that I could have done last night. I'll need to remember to do them tonight. A little weird that you're out here in Grand Trad on the same street that the church is, but that's going to be relevant to this rank up. Yeah, we're going to go back to the church in Brylehaven. So let's head on over there.
Thank you very much.
Still see that replica of the Royal Scepter in the window there, and now we know that Luis needs that, and given that Giraudet was talking about, so there's some kind of magic that, like that kind of magic to, you know, unleash it across the whole kingdom at once. There's nothing, like, you know, that would require an immense amount of power, right? I think we're all seeing where this is going with Luis and him wanting the Royal Scepter. Maybe they've left their back door open? The Magla is not good, huh?
That's surely right.
Usually when Yufa has a hunch about Magla, it's right on the money. Case in point, Will.
Dear God.
Close your eye.
Are we really okay with getting caught like this?
Oh.
Also, why are there, like, chain manacles on these beds? Yeah, this doesn't look like very sanitary conditions, though. Okay. Well, sadly, now that Rel is dead, we can't... Well, I mean, I know... I feel like if Rella was still alive, she could get a good read on exactly what these people are suffering from, but, well, she's gone now. Huh. Possessed. Appears to only affect followers of Sanctism, huh? That's a little weird.
But then... I won't.
About that.
So we've got a whole lot of people in one place, all suffering and getting their prayers out, and yeah, now that we know what Magla is, definitely seems like we've created some kind of a Magla anomaly in this one very small room, which could be a problem.
Come on. Silence.
So, earlier this guy gave off a not bad impression by Sanctus standards. That's all starting to fall away now.
Leave this place.
Well, when Yufa said that it wasn't good, turned out to be an understatement.
Shame to admit, but
So, it seems like that guy's become one of those Hillsong faith healers,
if we do nothing,
who's just like, pray hard enough and your illnesses will go away. Yeah, so either the top or the bottom option give you the most mag here.
That's right.
that's surely right.
Even though he ends up saying like in Etria anyway, but via a roundabout way. So yeah, like a lot of the bonds in this game, this one's basically an extension of her original arc. Because Yufa's already experienced what religious fanaticism can do in her culture, and now she's seeing it within a different religion. It's a very interesting angle.
It is as it was when you ended the calamity on the island.
Slight problem with that. I highly doubt I'm gonna give Summoner to anybody else. I mean, it would be funny if I gave it to, like, Will, but I don't know if that would do well. So not really much we can do about that now. We'll just have to wait until later and do another bond rank with her to progress that further. Back to the Hushed Honeybee, there is informant info, but a couple of things that we can do in Grand Trad. Okay, yeah, the Ischia artist is here, only at night. It crafts a new product. Protects its carrier from misfortune, including illness. The Dusk Pendant gives you Dark Resistance, while the Carpenter Pendant gives you Strike Resistance. Dark Resistance is nice for the archetypes that are weak to it, such as Basilio, and if we combine that with the... I've actually made the Dark Resist armor. If we combine this with the Light Resist armor, then we can get no weaknesses on Berserker, though it will come at the cost of an accessory slot. I think I'm going to hold off a little bit for now. Oh, I like how just dire the backdrops look now. So is it this guy? I know there's a soldier somewhere.
What do you think you're playing at?
There we go, yeah. For some reason, talking to him gives you this memorandum entry on the Magla accumulator. And this might be the last missable one that I needed. Okay, 5 pages, wow. These accumulators were produced by the Igniter Consortium, the Crown Theocracy's exclusive commission for Igniter production. They came into operation around the same time that the Regolith Grand Cathedral broke ground. The stonemasonry involved in the cathedral's construction was labour-intensive beyond mortal limits, requiring scores of workers with some proficiency in magic. Unfortunately, an incident at the Nord mines, one of the kingdom's greatest sources of magla crystals, resulted in its closure. The accumulators were developed at national expense to prevent igniter production from grinding to a halt. In truth, putting the kingdom's coffers towards R&D of an alternate resource to mine crystals had another advantage for the Crown Theocracy, beyond keeping the construction schedule for the Grand Cathedral. The church seized their opportunity to install their magla collecting machines throughout the kingdom, artificially drawing on the masses in much the same way the royal magic does. While it's true that the details of the royal scepter's function are passed down only through Ukrainian kings, they are not clearly known to any outside their bloodline. Experts in magic research have long secretly theorized amongst each others as to the true nature of the scepter. If magla crystals naturally form in uninhabited lands, why don't they form in populous areas? The only answer that left no doubt was that something had to be constantly draining civilized areas' magla, subsequently lowering the concentration levels in the atmosphere. If that something was the royal scepter, it would easily explain the mighty power behind the royal magic, a power they sought to replicate by their own means. Had the church's plot become reality, the king's authority could very well have been shattered. Yeah, that's interesting. So, like, yeah, the immense magical power in the royal scepter must be because it is drawing in the magla of everyone in the kingdom, and that way we don't get those magla crystals just popping up in civilized regions. Naturally, openly researching such a thing would be treasonous. It was necessary to have an unsuspicious pretext that would warrant spending enormous sums of money. No such pretext was available until the closure of the Nord Mind, which granted them their wish. I wonder if the closure of the Nord Mines was entirely natural, then maybe the church dropped the dragon in there as an excuse to have it close. In short, the development of magla accumulators hit a secret aim as groundwork for the Sanctus Church to steal the throne. Very interesting. Well, I guess it's a good thing that I never actually used any of these. Okay, just some thinking out loud here. Yufa's rank 8 is only doable on the Gauntlet Runner. So maybe I should save this one until I get her to rank 7, but that actually requires Wisdom 5. So, I've got to think about how I max out Wisdom by then as well. Meanwhile, Apostles of the Apocalypse, I may want to save until I can field kill the highest level of Mimic, which is level 65. So, I think I need to level up quite a bit more before I can do that, and that might require me doing this after the Skybound Avatar. Cockatrice in the Clouds I could go for. The main reason I'm thinking about these is for the increase in courage, because I want to get Alonso to rank 7 ASAP, but also I want to get Alonso to rank 7 ASAP before I even do, like, any of the fighting, because I really want Utilitarian's manuals. So, yeah, there's a lot of moving parts to think about when I'm planning this, but, maybe I could go for a little bit of arena fighting, although I kind of want to do all the arena at once. That feels a little bit more convenient for the sake of the playthrough. I guess I could do the Cockatrice in the Clouds. But yes, so, Catherina. I'm thinking of doing this rank up here, mostly just to prolong doing Junah rank 8, because that should be a particularly momentous occasion. Okay, there's a really funny dialogue option in this one. I always have time to hear you ramble in your Cockney accents.
You know something?
I recently saw a Game FAQs post that was just saying, I tried the English dub of Metaphor and it made my ears bleed, and I'm like, what, really? Yeah, I mean, there are just people like that. Some people just are so used to Japanese dubs, they just can't, like, and the thing is, I'll admit, I am that way for anime. I prefer to watch actual anime with the Japanese audio, but when it comes to video games, I've just got so used to, because, like, it took a long time before we actually started getting dual audio for JRPGs, so by the time we got that, I've just been so used to English dubs, and most English dubs of video games, I've always been a proponent of the theory that, like, English dubs for video games are more likely to be good than anime because they don't have to worry about matching the lip flaps most of the time. Steady gig at a huge furniture shop. Huh, does it make furniture for huge people?
I'm so glad.
So it seems like everyone's going out and getting jobs.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess this does go to show that sometimes doing good deeds for people can actually help you network and help you out in the end. I feel like that's the actual reason for, like, the phrase, like, something like kindness or kindness will pay off or getting back what you give tenfold, because listening to some of Nintendo Capri-san's diaries in his, I would recommend, honestly, okay, so there's a video from Nintendo Capri-san that I would recommend watching, that is where he reads out his diaries from, like, when he was, like, in his mid-20s, and it's really fascinating. But he kind of got suckered into this bizarre mentality that must be more common among American religious circles, because I haven't really heard of it much where I am, that, like, the whole thing about doing good deeds being rewarded equals if you do good deeds for people, you will magically win the lottery. Like, he was convinced that that was true, which is insane to think about, but yeah. I guess that's kind of a very Hyperic kind of mentality, but... Sorry, I'm talking about everything besides Catherina's Bond in Catherina's Bond.
I see it clear as day. Right then.
Yeah, change is slow gives the lowest amount of points, obviously.
Right.
Bang on. Thank you.
I mean, to be fair, your Bond didn't even use up time until the last 4 ranks, so you actually have an advantage over the others when it comes to taking up our time in that regard. We deserve a King Will. Yes, we do. That would sound very weird if you named your protag something funny.
You're the ace in our deck, you know.
Oh, you don't actually unlock martial artists until rank 8. Okay, then. Oh, okay, I'm very glad that I did this one, because that's good to have before we move out to the dungeons of this arc. Unfortunately, this does not apply to story dungeons. This is only certain side dungeons. As cool as it would be to have this in story dungeons. But yeah, it's basically a really big percentage-based attack, and it looks like the screenshot is showing that being done in Mount Volcano. But everyone's, I think, in first tier archetypes. Which, you know, there's no reason really not to do that later on. Like, you could be, you know, ranking them up and getting, Heroes, Leaves of Light. Yeah, most people find work through connections. That's my problem when it comes to finding employment. I'm just not good at the connections part. Yeah, so here we go. This one. You're the coolest. Okay, actually, it would be hilarious if Catherina was trying to work in like a kitchen and she was she would just touch the dishes and they would immediately break. Isn't there like a running gag of Dimitri doing that in 3 Houses because he's like his crest gives him a big strength boost, so I barely see that. I still think it's really funny that in that game, oh hey, we actually do get another popularity boost that actually matters this time. But like that,
The day of the hero
oh, it's not like all
draws
ones.
near.
I've got all
We
ones
shall
in the
see crowning of a new
thousands
king.
digit at least.
29 days remain.
But yeah, that, there was like a poll in like a magazine early in 3 Houses released on like favorite crest, and like, it was like no contest. Frau Darius was like over 50% of the vote, because it's like the one crest that actually does something in gameplay. Although I think Blathid was like second, because that one can kind of help sometimes, but like, from what I remember, Frau Darius was like the only one. And I guess it's like intentional to like show that like crests aren't actually that much of a big deal in the world, but it was still weird to me that you had this like kind of gameplay mechanic that kind of didn't do much a lot of the time. Basilio, huh? However,
Smash it all to bits.
there he is again! Oh. Yeah, Bardon's pretty depressed. It looks like he's prepared to be exiled from Martira village, but, obviously that's not how things are going to end here. And yeah, he'll always talk about, the sky here, because you can't do this rank up until now.
Aye. Yes.
Yes, the situation's different now. The person that we were trying to get the throne for is no longer in play because he's us. People actually did like used to ship Will with the prince. I mean, I'm not surprised because they were established as friends in the pre-release, but like then people were like, well, okay, they're the same person, right then. But yeah, one aspect I did see in the comments about the prince plot point that I honestly do think has a point is that the prince himself...
Gastro's been acting as a proxy since the giant sandworms made the governorship one big open question.
Like, his whole character, everyone wanted him to be on the throne, but we didn't really know much about him. And so, Will being the prince all along kind of solves that issue. Now, we do know about the prince as a person because he's the person that we've been playing as the whole time. And it also conveniently writes the prince out of the story by merging him with a character we do know.
Everyone's gathered here today to learn what's what, and probably to sentence me to exile.
That's terrible.
That's the only option here that gives
I
Mag.
do feel terrible, but that one vote they took was correct after all.
I asked you all to gather here so I could speak about Martira's governance. While Bardon was recuperating, I was glad to act as his proxy. However, henceforth, I would like Bardon to resume his duties as governor.
Well, that's sudden?
What's this?
This town's autonomy was initiated by your sheer pluck. At the time, I cooperated only so I could use you for my own ends. But I had a revelation in those moments as the giant sandworm approached. I saw that I cannot even protect myself, much less the people. When you returned here, exhausted and in tatters, I regretted everything from the bottom of my heart. My actions are unpardonable.
The righteous fellow are unpardonable. That just reminds me of that badly translated Crystal line.
Sir Gastro. But if I go back to governing, it's...
Have some faith in yourself, Bardon.
all right, if you say so. I'm just not sure where to start, except to begin with an apology. My excessive measures frightened you all, and I implemented them because of my own insecurity.
Yeah, fitting more with the themes of the game.
I was anxious about whether or not I could keep you safe, so I turned to surveillance and barriers. No more. We'll keep some of our armed forces, but what I really need for security is to have faith in you all. That's why I am not fit to govern.
It's not over yet.
That's right. It's never over. We can still improve this town. And we want you to see it done. Bardon, listen. I followed your example and built a defensive barrier myself.
You've been taking after the greatest of Age of Empires villages and building walls everywhere. Hooray!
I did too. And I had an idea. We could turn uninhabited houses into shelters.
Things didn't go well before, that's true. But you're not the only one at fault, Bardon. This is just as much our town as yours.
Oh, laddies and lassies.
You see? After 2 disasters, everyone has a more mature view of things. You're free to decline. But is that really what you want to do?
Well, now I must apologize. If it truly is what everyone wants, I'll be the governor of Martira again. This time, I won't do anything to scare the populace. We'll have faith in each other and the town's unity will be known far and wide. And for our first step, I have the perfect suggestion. Step forward, young man. The reason I stand here now is thanks to this fella. He is the hero who saved this town, the one most worthy of the crown. I want us to support him as the future king.
Yes!
Bardon and a hero together!
In a way, I feel like this one is best done right before the end of the game.
Come to think of it, I never told you the truth behind that bit of arson.
But that would require putting off getting this archetype for ages, and you do not want to do that.
It was this little poor wee un who started it. He didn't mean to, but he touched an igniter some fool had left behind. I only know this because just the other day he came to me begging for forgiveness, all in tears. If I'd known from the start, I would have just thought it a lone accident. Instead, I acted like invaders had infiltrated us. Got my people all terrified.
Jump into conclusions out of paranoia. Yeah, that sounds an awful like what's gripping the country at the moment.
But in truth, you're a kind person.
I'm the kind of man who rushes in without thinking. I ought to take more care and not act so rash.
That is actually interesting, because I did see another person in the comments talk about how this is kind of why Catherina might not be suited for ruling, because she's very rash and she tends to jump into things without really thinking them through. And in a way, Bardon shows what happens when somebody with that kind of mentality takes up a leadership position. It can sometimes not go well.
Let's focus on the future now. This region, in fact, the whole country depends on it.
Well, I mean, yeah, if we don't stop Luis, everything's just going to be gone.
Mind if I ask you just one more time? If you think I'm fit to govern?
Bardon's constantly asking for reassurance does actually hit close to home for both me and people in my family.
There's no one more qualified for the job than you, Bardon.
And you truly believe that? Then I must devote myself to the work even more, so as not to disappoint the future king. Thank you greatly for everything you've done. This only happened because I had your support. Even when I made mistakes, you stuck by my side. I'll return the favor one day. I swear it.
You're gonna return the favor even now because of what we're about to get.
The Honorable Guardsman, Bardon, keeper and heritor of the Commander's virtues. Your tempered bond has become a fire-forged trust. Thus, a new pinnacle of heroism awakens within thee. By the grace of his newfound powers, work to give truth to our hopes and fulfill thy destiny.
You're the one who brought light to this town, to this country.
Well, we haven't quite brought light to the country yet, but we're working on it. And there it is. There it is.
Warlord!
Unlike their other questionable balancing decisions, Peerless Stonecleaver, Atlas was very right to lock Warlord until the end of the game. And I'll speedrun the first page so I can talk about why. Firstly, you have Formation of Vigor and Shelter Formation at rank 1, no need to inherit those. Imposing Aura is magic wind damage that's weaker than Summoner and Soul Hacker, but it does come with a chance of daze. We complete the all-party buff trinity that's outclassed by formation skills with Masukakaja. We get Negadola, and the main notable normal leveling skills of Warlord are back boost and front boost, giving you a 10% buff to certain types of attacks simply for having your Warlord in the front or back row. Sadly, back boost does not raise the damage of snipers in the back row, only magic. But here we go, the real reason why you want Warlord: Dynast Formation. 70 MP from 2 characters is admittedly a lot, but at this point you have access to lots of great MP recovery, including 1 Steam Bun from Altaberry per day. And it is well worth the cost for buffing the entire party to maximum in all stats, and not even forcing a row change. Let me put in perspective just how good Dynast Formation is. Against the strongest optional boss in the main story, I was struggling horribly on my first playthrough. I then tried again using Dynast Formation, and the fight was a joke. Best part is, you don't even have to level Warlord to use this. All you need is maxed Commander and General, get in Warlord, and you've already got Dynast Formation. Oh, and there's other synthesis skills, I guess. Megadola, Megadola on, and the others are all just from the earlier tiers of this archetype, except for Eureka Moment. Decent fire damage that ignores resistance to all enemies, that's pretty nice, and a chance of burn. But you're not using this for offense, you're using it for Dynast Formation. Dynast Formation, Dynast Formation, Dynast Formation, Dynast Formation, Dynast Formation. Did I mention Dynast Formation? We finally have a worthy opponent of Peerless Stonecleaver in the legendary battle of ridiculous synthesis skills.
Today, really is such a bonny day.
I love the sheer Scottishness Bardon is radiating. It is a good antidote to the evil Scotsman on Louise's side.
I'm blessed with the greatest of friends. The townspeople love me, despite all my flaws. And everyone is so... Thank you again. I'm just so happy.
Slowly climbing up those ranks. And... nighttime... We kind of only have one option right now. And yeah, here's where things get sort of weird, because technically speaking, we have discovered the concept of ultimate archetypes by this point. So I really should be... Okay, we've got Bond's Unfettered Bardon here. Just kind of leaving you to read those yourselves.
Hey.
I should be doing the bios for the ultimate archetypes of the party members that I haven't hit rank 8 with, as I do their rank 8s, but that feels a little inconsistent with the other party members that I already got rank 8 with, so I think I'm going to actually do the ultimate archetype bios as I unlock them, which might mean they don't come until way later in the game, but I suppose that's fitting. But yes, getting to rank 8 is a prerequisite for doing that, and I need Alonso's bond at rank 7 though to really start working on getting Junah's.
Thanks.
Not a super high priority that I get Junah's that early though. I feel like the most likely one I'm gonna get first is either Heismay, weirdly enough, or Hulkenberg, but I've specifically been working on getting Heismay's over the course of the whole run, because I know how insane his is to get.
That girl's amazing. I'm kind of emotional right now.
And they didn't have the budgets to hire a singer to voice Myrtus.
She looks a bit rustic, but she might have what it takes to be a songstress.
Look at Myrtus now. Her audience is melting in her hands. I asked Capra to make some connections, and I think introducing Myrtus here was the right choice.
Especially since all of the Louise folks have cleared out of this pub now.
I think she's got potential.
Yes, she really does. If I don't watch out, she may just pass me up.
This does feel very Arn and Mika though.
Her voice, though, it lights a fire in my heart.
You came?
Oh, I just wanted to catch a few notes. But I must admit, you sing with a river of emotions, and it swept me away. I didn't expect to say it, but I was having a great time.
You don't say. Well, thanks. I'll take your word for it.
At times, she sounds vaguely Australian to me, but I don't think that she is. It is always cool when, like, the fact that the final ranks are fully voiced means that the, like, minor characters in these bonds can suddenly show up with full voice acting, just like, I've already forgotten his name, the other governor candidate in Bardon's one. I think Mika did get fully voiced dialogue at the end of Arn's in P5, or maybe I'm wrong about that.
As for me, I think I've learned to face my demons. There's nothing standing between me and my songs now. So you keep an eye out, because I'll be right on your tail. Next time we meet, we'll be sharing a stage.
Well, shouldn't you be off then? Take too long and I'll have a stage larger than this country.
There's that telltale confidence. I will be off, but do enjoy your time here.
Oh, that little
Good
wave was
shake
nice.
on that one. But you know, my good man, I think this whole ordeal has finally shown me exactly why I sing.
My good man is maybe my second favorite pronunciation of his name, but nothing can beat Stroll's.
Suppose you'll have to actually try for the throne now, eh? Your Majesty.
Which is now even more ironic.
It's not the lyrics, it's not the harmony, it's the power of the song as a whole.
Actually, ironic is probably the wrong use of that word.
And it varies. When Myrtus sings, you can feel her fiery passion. But for me, I want my music to give people hope, no matter how deep the despair. I want my songs to show people that there is always a light that they just have to reach out and touch. That the future is worth fighting for. I think that's what the world needs right now.
You already fill me with hope.
To hear that from you, of all people, is high praise indeed. But just you watch. I'm not done growing.
Yeah, the you of all people makes a bit more sense now that we know that he's actually the prince and on track to being the next king. But I'm pretty sure you can do this before that point. This isn't, like, locked off by any plot.
Well, it would be much easier to do that if the world weren't under a constant barrage of tragedies.
Even more so now.
So let's work together to create a world where everyone can hear me sing in peace.
Any one of these gives the most, but I like I suppose this is a metaphor?
I'll expect a seat at your side. Every time.
I want my next song to bring a smile to every face. Something they'll love so much they'll hum across the kingdom.
Junah shall create the ultimate earworms.
But more than anything, I want you to love it. My sister told me something once. She said I should always strive to get my voice out to more and more people. Journey has been difficult at times, but I'm so glad I never gave up. And as for you, you better be at my side, listening to every note.
The ephemeral songstress, Junah, keeper and heritor of the masked dancer's virtues.
Ephemeral is a good word.
By the grace of her newfound powers, work together to give truth to our hopes and fulfill thy destiny.
A future filled with happy songs is almost here.
So we get more MP recovery after battle, we also have that now, and 4 inheritance slots for Masked Dancer is pretty nice.
All right, enough of that. Tonight we drink. You're stuck with me until the dawn breaks.
Wasn't he not supposed to be of drinking age in this world?
Don't make that face. I just want to see what kind of music you like.
I guess that's what the implication was with his head shaking there. So yes, Night of Revelry, hopefully involving not underage drinking, and yeah, I had a feeling that we'd get a boost here. So, I think I'll see you all next time.